Greetings everyone, my name is Jonathan Bailey. I am from the website Plagiarism Today, which can be found at plagiarismtoday.com. Click here to learn about all the other stuff I do on the interwebs. And today we're going to do something of a follow-up post. We have some new developments, new happenings going on in the Matthew Santoro plagiarism scandal. And I don't want to go through the whole thing again, so please feel free to click. I'll put a little card up there so you can go to the previous video and watch it. But suffice to say, for our purpose, YouTuber Matthew Santoro, famous for his lists and his edutainment videos, I think is what he calls it, has been caught plagiarizing from various sources. A prominent case we talked about last time involved a listserv article where he had the exact same 10 people in the exact same order as a post from listserv just a few days before his video went live. So yeah, it's pretty clear cut. Now we have some developments going on in the world surrounding Matthew Santoro and in what Matthew Santoro himself is doing. So let's take a look at a few things. Now, if you'll recall last week, he posted this on his Twitter. It's where he says, hey, I've got your feedback. Gonna start citing my sources, blah, 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 and all that jazz. And I made the comment last time around that that's a good step. And some people seem to think, and maybe I, misspoke a little bit here, but I don't think that necessarily, erases the plagiarism, so to speak. It certainly doesn't. It was still plagiarism what he did. This is just the first step in fixing it. We also need a lot more things beyond just him citing his sources. It'd be helpful if he explained what the heck happened. Why he didn't feel the need to cite previously. And I guess most importantly would actually be an apology, but we haven't gotten that either that I've been able to see. Well, the big update on the Santoro side is those credits are now live. Let's take a look at what the credits were like previously. Here you see it just has The Team, and it's got written edited by Matthew Santoro, Jim Valen, and Brock Summer, blah, blah, blah. Straightforward as can be. Now, this is from the video in question, by the way, the list verse one. Where he copied all 10 items out of the list verse article. Now let's take a look at the current one, and it is, there you go, you got the team again, but now you have a sources subhead there with 3 links. Now, one thing I had noticed when I checked it out the first time, and I wish to heck I had screenshotted this. If anyone's got it, please let me know. It only included the first 2 links, an article on Audi.com and Crack.com. The list verse article wasn't even mentioned. Now, this kind of bugs me a little bit as a plagiarism guy, because in plagiarism there's this concept of misattribution. It's where you definitely claim something is not yours, but then you misattribute it. You attribute it to someone else. And a good example of this is if you copied and pasted a bunch of text from Wikipedia or a bunch of ideas from Wikipedia, and instead of just admitting that you got it from Wikipedia, you claim that you got it from the sources below, the various in-text cited sources in Wikipedia. That would be a form of misattribution. No, you're not taking credit for it, but you're deliberately trying to say you got the information from somewhere you didn't to either, avoid having to say you used Wikipedia or something else. And in this case, I think Matthew Santoro is attempting to really downplay his use of list verse in this. But let's just go back to the proof real fast. I mean, here you have the list verse article on the left, Matthew Santoro's video on the right. You see it's the same 10 people in the exact same order. And the odds of that, as we discussed last time, I think grade A under A, like I said, is the one who's really brought this to light recently. He calculated the odds at something above 3 million. And yeah, that's pretty high, and I'm pretty sure that's the mathematical odds of getting all 10 of these in the exact same order. But let's not forget that a lot more than 10 people got famous for weird reasons, which is the subject of this video. I mean, hey, got kinda-ish famous in some ways from plagiarism. Yeah, just saying. Number 11? Number 11? We feeling it? Okay, never mind. The point is, though, there are a lot of people that got famous for weird reasons, and the odds of Santoro and listverse choosing the same 10 people and putting them in the same order, along with having a lot of the text overlap between the two. Let me just say this, if Santoro genuinely did this as a coincidence, he needs to buy lottery tickets, because that's pretty much the mathematical equivalent of getting struck by lightning while holding the winning lottery ticket up in the air. It is way out there in terms of the odds. I just don't see that happening normally or naturally. And by putting those 2 other articles in there, I mean, maybe he got a piece of information or a fact or something from them, but yeah, they obviously were not the key source of that. So it's a form of misattribution. At the very least, the list verse article should be the number 1 there. And that's really, really frustrating about this is that Santoro, on his side, seems to be really trying to downplay this. He seems to be trying to do everything he can to minimize it, and that's just making people like me more angry. I mean, I started out this, as I said in the last episode, thinking, well, maybe it was one of his writers misled him. We only have a couple of videos. Maybe it's not as bad as it seems, but his response makes it seem and feel far worse. If he had just been clean, been honest, been direct, and said, yeah, I screwed up, I got this article from here, and, I should have provided attribution, but I didn't, I'm sorry, this whole thing probably would have blown over. But by playing games like this, people like me are forced to do update videos. Just saying. Now, the update on what's going on with the rest of the world as it approaches Santoro is basically that a lot of people are discovering other alleged instances of plagiarism. I haven't taken too deep of a dive into those, but I have little reason to doubt that there are other issues in his videos. And this is where I kind of have to be dodgy a little bit, and I apologize for that. But I do know that there are movements being made against Santoro. I don't know all the details, and I don't know how much I'm really supposed to say, but I know lawyers are being talked to, and that there's possibility of some action being taken. I believe some action may already have been taken in the form of takedown notices. I haven't seen that bearing fruit yet, but it's very possible we will in the not-too-distant future. In reality, this whole thing is very, very surreal to me. If Santoro did knowingly plagiarize, the best thing he could have done is said, you know what, I screwed up, I should have been better about my attribution, I messed it up, I'm going to be better moving forward, please forgive me. And I think a lot of people would have, honestly. I mean, people generally, at least, are kind of forgiving of screw-ups and mistakes. They're not forgiving of people who try to consistently bury them. I mean, after all, we all understand making mistakes. We all understand doing things we're not proud of. That's life, man. But Santoro, by trying to bury it, is just making things worse. And one question I've been asked repeatedly is there a potential copyright case here? I can't really speak to that. And the reason is Santoro is based out of Canada, and I think ListVerse, the people behind it, are based in New Zealand. And so I don't understand all the details. They have different nuances of the law. I will speak to the United States, though, on this, and this is pretty interesting. The long and short of it is you can't copyright facts, and you can't copyright non-creative lists of facts. A good example of this is there actually was a case in the United States involving phone books and the copyrightability of phone books. And the result of that case was the court ruled that no, you can't copyright a phone book. It's just an alphabetical list of names and numbers. It's purely factual information with zero creativity, therefore no copyrightability. But copyright can exist in a creatively assembled list. So if ListVerse can show, for example, it had some creativity in assembling its list, then it can show copyrightability, and it may be able to show infringement. Now, Santoro could reasonably argue fair use, but this is another one of those areas where I know Canada and the U.S. are different. There are differing standards of fair use, so I can't even begin to guess on his chances there. But in the United States, it'd be pretty decent, but fair dealing in Canada is somewhat more narrow. So I don't really know where it falls on the spectrum there. Maybe I'll do if there's enough interest, leave comments below. I'll dig deeper into Canadian law and see if I can get something for you guys, get a more definitive answer at the very least. So yeah, I don't really know the truth there. It's a complicated issue. He took a lot of facts, and the copyrighted content he did take may not be, enough to really go after an infringement claim. Unsure about it. But the bottom line is this is definitely an ethical issue, and Santoro, on the ethical side of things, I think has let just about everyone down, and is continuing to let everyone down by not offering a sincere apology that I have seen, and by doing this misattribution, this questionable attribution in the video. So yeah, it's very frustrating, and last time around I said I was still subscribed to him. I was kind of waiting and seeing. Well, I clicked that unsubscribe button today. I'm going to miss the knowledge whale, I won't lie, but what can I say? The knowledge whale, in my view, sank itself. Well, that's about all I've got for right now. It seems like I droned on a little bit long this go around. Sorry about that. But on that note, everyone, once again, Jonathan Bailey from Plagiarism Today. Please like, please subscribe, thumbs up, all that jazz. You know the routine here. This is YouTube. Thank you very much, and I will see you guys next time.